Hello, good afternoon, and good evening, and good morning to everyone. I'm Kate Wade with Get Her Hired, and I've got a special guest with us this week, Jennifer McCullough, who's here with Mojo with Jennifer. She is a fantastic coach. I met you like 3, 4 weeks ago. No, longer than that. And as soon as I
Been
met you, I was like, Jennifer and I have to talk because we just were at the same kind of thought level on a lot of things.
Mhm.
um, Let me tell you a little bit more about Jennifer, and then I'll turn the microphone over to her. But Jennifer is someone who has been in the burnout herself, and she is now a burnout recovery coach, combining professional coaching with nervous system healing and energy work like Reiki to help you return to what feels true to you with honesty, compassion, and zero performance required. Yes. And your company provides individual and group coaching online and in person, and also helps people who have their own businesses decrease the burnout and increase employee engagement. Jennifer, you launched a book in 2021. We're giving out 3 copies today to people who are in attendance. So if you're here today, you're being entered into the virtual hat to win one of the books. But the book is called Self Care for Your Apocalypse. Self Care for Your Apocalypse. And maybe you'll be a happy winner of that book. We'll have to hear more from Jennifer about that. At this point, we want to have a real conversation with you. We want to make sure that everyone is comfortable and welcome here. So just so you know, everyone on here is anonymous except for Jennifer and I. And if you've got any questions at any point throughout the conversation, you can use either the Q&A function, or you can use the comments, commenting just to the panelists or the hosts. That will come just to us and we will answer your questions. We're here for it. That's why we're here. So before we do anything else, Jennifer, welcome, welcome. Tell us a little bit more about you in your words. Tell us about your background. Tell us about your book. Tell us about why you're doing what you do.
Sure. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Also, background on me, I had a 20, we're going to talk professionally here, 24-year corporate career. And the first 20 years I really enjoyed. The last four were very crispy, very burnt out. And I didn't know that at the time. I just thought I wasn't doing as well as I could do. I could do better. And so
Mm,
I left that career with nothing lined up except a coaching certification and decided I was going to help people. My thought was exit corporate. That's not what ended up necessarily happening, but the more I learned about coaching, the more I worked with people, the more I realized, you know what, it might burn me out to work with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but I see trends. And so
mm.
fast forward to now, and I just am here to help women who are where I have been. So I've come through it. I'm on the other side. I'm going to turn around and help people now.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that is such a powerful story. And it is so important. I think one of the things that can happen, and I'm talking to our team talks to women, every day who are in these situations where they feel so isolated. They can feel so much like it's them and only them. They're the only person going through
Mhm.
this type of trauma or challenge. And it's so good to normalize it that people like you, people like me, there are really good leaders out there who have been there before. You're not alone. It's okay. And there are solutions. And Jennifer, anyone out there who's going through some burnout right now, by the way, she's got this great offer. We're going to get to that a little later, but maybe we'll talk about it sooner. But she's got a great offer to go through some coaching sessions with her to work on your burnout. And it's a wonderful opportunity to take care of yourself. I think it's really important also for us around the holidays too. I know a lot of people can
Mhm.
get extra busy and prioritize other things. And then what winds up happening is you finally get that day of rest and okay, I'll put it in my words. I'll come down with a cold from hell finally, I like finally get my day of rest and it's like, oh, my immune system's like, nope, you're getting a cold today. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe we can prevent that this season. Oh my gosh. All right.
I hope
If
so.
there are any if there are any questions coming in so far, oh, we got some love for the title of your book, Self-Care for Your Apocalypse. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that book. We're giving that away.
Mhm.
But yeah, tell us about that.
When I started working with volumes of people in coaching, I noticed that women in particular, when I would say, "What do you do for self-care?" would say, "Well, I try to eat well, I try to get enough rest, and sometimes if I can, I go exercise." And I would think that is how we survive. That is not how we take care of ourselves. Speaking as a recovering, not take care of herself person. So enough women said that to me that I thought, what if I didn't have to spend my first like 10 coaching sessions getting them here? And I just put this in a book for everybody to read. And it wasn't that people didn't want to do it or didn't wish they could. It was they didn't know how to start it. And so I break it down starting at 5 minutes. After I give so many ideas on what you can do for 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day really makes a difference. And that's where the
Yeah.
book was born.
Wonderful. What's something we could try right now, maybe from your book? That's a 5-minute thing that maybe we could just close our eyes and consider.
Yeah, a 5 minute thing that we could, there's so many right now. We could even 2 minutes, 1 minute of 4-7-8 breathing. Some of you may have
Whoa.
heard of it. It's where you breathe in for 4. Everybody close your eyes. In for 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and slowly out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What you just did there was let your nervous system know you're actually safe. And a lot
Oh,
of our burnout is our nervous system in just overwhelm. But if you do that
yeah.
breath work, like, I don't know, 3 rounds of it when you're sitting at work or in the car or something, it'll really just center your nervous system. You'll have to keep doing it throughout the day, but that's something you can do in even less than 5 minutes right there.
I'm doing it again right now.
It feels so
Oof,
good. Doesn't it? Don't
feels
you feel
really good.
calmer?
One of my I teach music, and one of my students told me this the other week. They said for her band class, they go in and they lean over
Hmm.
like this, and then she says her teacher says, take in a breath so that your back has to go up,
Hmm.
and then let it down. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. There's so much
I
about
love
even
that
just the
one.
breathing that we don't breathe deep enough to
Yeah, yeah,
regulate our nervous system throughout the day. And if we're under stress, which we all are, um,
yeah.
that shallow breathing, oh, it'll exhaust you.
Yeah, it makes the shoulders go up. And we are all about
Yeah.
tits up here. And you can't have your tits up if your shoulders are up, right? You got
You
to put your
can't.
shoulders down and back. Let those tits up.
Yeah. Drop your shoulders, like relax your jaw, stop clenching your jaw. How many times a day do I
Really a
notice, oh,
core
stop
value
clenching
here.
my jaw? Mhm.
Sorry, I'm busy laughing at myself. Oh my goodness, we're getting a lot of
It's
fun
funny.
notes um over here in the chat. So first of all, awesome title to your book, Jennifer. Um there's another person agreeing that they also always get sick when we get too busy and focused on others, and then we just like have a rest day. That's when
Mhm.
our body tells us to slow down. Yep. Another person posted that self-care can sometimes feel like a luxury. Even now that I'm better at finding the time, it's hard to let go of the guilt. Thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on
Thoughts on
that?
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what
in
are
my
your thoughts on
book,
that?
I still feel kind of like a dork when I say self-care because of the cultural kind of shame and guilt around it. And so I'm pushing through
Mhm.
when I talk about self-care, even though I've written a book, even though I will stand on the mountain and shout about it. The thing to know is that once you start taking care of yourself in a really luxurious is fine. We deserve that. When you start doing that, you are more efficient, you're more effective, your boundaries are better. Everything that you do becomes better externally as well. So if you have to position it in a way that it's going to help other people in the long run, start there, because we are certainly not encouraged to take a minute and take care of ourselves. I'm going to tell you to, but there aren't many people that will.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think behind this question maybe is an assumption that it's expensive or it takes a lot of time to take
And
care of yourself.
that is a big, when I first started talking about self-care for myself, I was thinking, like, you see those pictures on Instagram of like yoga in the mountains and stuff, and very unattainable.
I don't
So
have
that
time for that.
I don't want to keep saying my book says, but I want to tell you that you can do free self-care. There are a lot of options. Like if you use hand lotion, take like an extra time to like massage each finger, and don't be reading an email while you're doing it. Or when you have coffee or tea, just sit with it. Don't take it to go and run. Give yourself the 5 minutes. You can do a lot of things that are very caring for yourself for free in just a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I think probably what I'm hearing there, Jennifer, is the intentionality around it. So are you making it a
Mhm,
moment for yourself or are you forgetting yourself in the moment?
mhm.
So
It's true.
the opportunities are there when I think about what you just shared, that they're there, but I often forget that. Recently, when I take my dog out for a walk, I've just been stopping and enjoying the sky for a moment. Like, let
Hmm.
me just look at the sky
Yeah.
and not think about my dog pulling or worrying about other things, and just enjoy
Yeah.
that. And so I've become intentional there. It feels good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Someone has a question about relaxing the jaw. You mentioned relaxing the jaw. Do you have a favorite way to do this, Jennifer?
I do this. I start at the top of my head for my whole head, and I relax. I say to myself, relax the inside of your scalp,
Ooh.
relax the inside of your forehead, relax the inside of your cheeks, relax the inside of your face and your jaw. I don't know if that's a real thing that we do, but it helps me to just my whole head just goes, "Ooh."
Yeah, I just melted like a pool of chocolate. Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Felt really good. Like I didn't know there
Yeah.
was tension like right here in my face,
We all have
but there was.
tension everywhere. And then you get down, it's
Yeah,
everywhere. We are walking tension rods.
this is so good. Okay, we're gonna have so much fun here. I have a few questions for everybody. I wanted to start with just to see where we're all at on this call today. And thank you so much to those coming here. If you would please tell us, how would you describe your current stress level at work? Okay, maybe you're not at work, maybe you're trying to find work, because I know sometimes our audience is currently not working. Oh no, we've got a good amount of people who are burned out and exhausted, or who are, well, we got 50-50 now, rising but under control, burned out but exhausted. Okay. Looks like no one here on this call, Jennifer, would say that they have a manageable level of stress,
I believe
which, yeah,
that
yeah,
100%.
okay. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Um, Let me ask another question. What are the biggest contributors to your burnout right now? Is it work, lack of control, poor boundaries, toxic environment, unclear priorities? So what's really contributing to your burnout right now?
Is there an all
All
of the
right.
above?
Yeah, it's pretty much coming in that way with all of the above.
Hmm.
Toxic environment. It looks like unclear priorities and constant change, as well as lack of control that kind of feeds in. Why is it that unclear, I can get change, but why would unclear priorities cause stress for us? Jennifer, do you think? Like constant change I get, but like why would unclear
Yeah.
priorities?
Well, speaking for every woman I've ever worked with and myself included, we want to handle everything as best as we can. And the level of jumping around and juggling we have to do that is so critical that we understand what needs to be done first. What's the fire? And a lot of times in our personal lives and in corporate America, it's a fire before you even get it. And so it
Uh,
feels like everything's really urgent, really when it's not really urgent. So there's some, when we are left to decide without enough information, it all feels that way. And it's frankly impossible, but we're tasked with
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, that sounds, I mean, all the answers we got, lack of control or autonomy, unsupportive culture, unclear priorities, heavy workload, like all of that feeds into a place where I definitely would be very stressed. Okay.
Mhm.
Next question for everybody. When you feel this burnout creeping in, what is your first coping mechanism? I know mine. I know mine. Mine is number one, push through and work harder. That's my fallback. Um, there's then disconnect and take a break or vent or reevaluate priorities or like, I have no idea, right? That's the last one. So I have no idea how I cope. What do you see in your work, Jennifer, and with the people you're meeting with? It looks like the majority of people here also said they push through and work harder when they feel burnout creeping
Mhm.
in. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
That's it.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
see is a lot of pushing through and feeling not good enough while you're doing it. And so by the time you can say, I'm burnt out, you've been burnt out for a while. And so we don't notice it because we assume we're going to handle it. But it's pushing through and the disconnect from things that you enjoy. That is the big, goes hand in hand with the pushing through.
Do you have a solution for that one, Anna? For us,
The, the
Jennifer?
pushing through, do I have a solution for
Yeah.
it? Yeah, stop
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
stop
know that
doing it.
sounds really scary. Stop doing it. Stop
Yeah.
doing the push through because you probably have all heard like your lack of planning, a lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. And that's
Yeah.
how I got through the last 4 years of my career was like, yeah, you're, you know, in charge of that. And now it's my problem. So it, it takes support. So get support to stop doing that. And then bit by bit, start working on boundaries. Oh, I see. I've got these three things just tossed at me. Which one do you want when? Or I'm able to
Yeah.
do this by then. These will have to wait. Starting with those are really small boundaries, also. That's the answer, though,
Yeah.
is to push back because if you think about it, a lot of businesses are running short right now because they figured out
Hmm.
they could. They figured out they could, and that's why it's a little bit hard to get a job right now. Not impossible, but they will keep doing that until it breaks. And the system that we are in is not built for us. We have to break it and create a new system. And that might sound kind of radical, but that's what the boundaries do. And you say, like, this isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
begin to create a new system. Because you know what? I know that everyone on this call can get done what needs to get done if the system is better. And we have to create it. It's up to us.
That's interesting. I went on a big rant in my newsletter yesterday, and I think I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think LinkedIn is suppressing my posts because I went on a rant about the system and about, the labor market and the jobs report that actually didn't come out and
Mhm.
how women are taking the brunt of the economy right now. And it's a systems issue. It's a systems and a priority issue. But how do we change it? And one of the ways I'm attempting to change it is through how I run my business
Mhm.
and the honor, respect, and grace I give the people on my team and the people who come and work with us as clients. But yeah, there are systemic problems here. I could go on and on about the patriarchy and capitalism and racism and sexism.
I know.
Um, Go read my article.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult we do have to change it, but if someone's not in a position to lead an organization, how can we stop pushing through and allow
Yeah.
the space? Yeah.
I think, and I was actually speaking of like not a leader a minute ago, is it is you looking at your calendar and getting really honest about how you can most effectively get the things done, and then having a conversation with the leader and saying, hey, this is math at this point. This is how much time I need to devote to this. Do you want this to be extraordinary, or do you want it, is mediocre okay? Because sometimes mediocre
Right,
is
right, right,
okay.
right. Yeah.
When is okay okay? And having that conversation is a first step to starting to
Mhm.
protect your calendar a little bit. The other thing that I would recommend, I'm saying this knowing that I've already done it and it's scary, is you don't answer emails after you're not at work. To me, a salary
What?
doesn't mean they own you. I know. I know that the salary doesn't mean 24/7. And if you answer the emails after work or on vacation or any other time that you're not working, you're training them that that's okay. And that technique can start by just not answering one till you start work the next day and just seeing how it goes. And that will allow your
Mhm.
nervous system to be like, okay, maybe I don't have to answer them all, because a salary doesn't mean ownership. And we have been a little bit tricked into believing that's the only way to survive.
Ah. Yeah, the fear basis that we're all operating under most of the time, most of the time,
Well, most of the
truly.
time,
Um,
when I left my career after 24 years of awards and bonuses and raises and all the things, I left and I was like, I was scared for 24 years that I was going to lose my job. That's the system. Go ahead with the poll. Sorry.
yeah. No, oh, we just got a love note in here that says that salary doesn't mean ownership. They really love that framing of it, that just because you're on salary doesn't mean they own you. Yeah. So I just put a poll question out there because we were talking about this. How comfortable are you about talking to your manager or team about burnout? One person is very comfortable, and then the rest are kind of split I'm okay with it to absolutely not. It feels unsafe. And I'm sure you've talked to women who it feels really unsafe for women in particular to
Mhm.
bring up
Yes.
they're feeling burned out. What do you do when you encounter this type of situation, which I'm sure happens all the time, all the time? Yeah.
I guide them through the conversation and first to the support that they need. And often that's medical support by the time they're burnt out. It's some kind of
Mm,
medical. I've had many women, I've walked them through medical leave, which is important to know that you have if you have it. But it's framing it in a way that is accurate. Burnout is not because you failed. Burnout is because the system is not working. Burnout is because you're doing the job of what used to be three people or two
yeah.
people, or there's an open spot. It's not your fault. And I'm not saying go and blame your boss. Maybe it's not their fault. I don't know them. But saying, I really want to be successful. And here's where I'm struggling. Can you help me organize this in a way so that I don't end up ill? Because like you said, Kate, like if you don't take the time to take care of yourself in some way, your body will make you. So just framing it in a different way, like I want to be successful. I don't know if you're aware my workload is this big. I don't know if you're aware I need a little more time for these things. And there's scary conversations because we're taught that if we don't do it all, we fail. And that's not true. That isn't it.
Yeah.
Don't fail
Yeah.
yourself in order to try to achieve something for a company.
Yeah. That's really hard to, I'm going to stick on this moment and unpack this a little bit
Yeah.
more here because this is a huge fear basis for a lot of people that if we're not, and as women, of course, we're always overperforming anyway, just to be
Mhm.
um, at the same level a man might get recognition for the same work, right? We overperform to get the recognition. And I wonder if people in the audience could post a question or post in the chat. What is your biggest fear if you were to bring this up with a team member or someone you report to? What is your biggest fear? Like, what do you think might happen? What is the worst case scenario you think might happen if you shared how you're feeling about burnout with someone at your company who's maybe in a more senior authority position? I know back when I was in corporate, there was so much travel. There was so much just pick yourself up off the ground, just keep going because tomorrow we got to get back in front of this customer. Like just the nonstop forward movement. And if ever there was a moment of pause that wasn't, I'm going to call it bro approved, which meant drinking, bowling, going to a sporting event, or something like that. If you did something other than those bro approved kinds of things, you were at
Mhm.
risk for being on the gossip list for not being able to, keep up and do the work.
Mhm.
And so when I was in corporate, had that fear. I didn't want to be on the gossip list of not being able to keep up. Um, and I really knew how to work hard, play hard in that environment. I was also an alcoholic at that time. Now, no longer, 9 years sober, and no longer in corporate. But like these things are real and it happens to people. And the fear can keep us, the fear kept me in a place where I was not in integrity with myself. The fear kept me in a place where I didn't respect my own needs because I felt like if I did, I was less than. I was less than. We're getting some notes here. Someone
Kate, we
wrote
have
in to
so
share.
many good comments coming in.
Yeah.
Can I add something really
Thank
quick while
you.
we wait for the notes?
Yes.
The
Yes.
What I want to say is, like, in addition to helping people try to work their current environment, I will more than likely help them leave that current environment. And what I want to say, I know this 100% of the time, no matter how hard you play the bro game, you're never going to be seen the way we think we will be seen. It doesn't matter. I had a client just recently, she is far superior to her leader in skills, talent, and experience. And she was like, when is he going to notice that? And I said, never. He's not going to notice that. Is that why you're working? Because if that's what you're
Yeah.
looking for in this burnout behavior, let's stop it. Let's just do the job. So, anyway, there we go. Questions.
Mhm. Ooh, someone just confirmed, yes, get out of an environment when you don't feel like your
Hmm.
leader has your back. Yeah. Anne
Yeah.
Marie, can you
Hmm.
read us some of the notes coming in here?
Yes. So one person said that the worst case scenario happened to them. They shared they were overwhelmed and their manager put it back on them as a character flaw or even because of their age, saying they were like disorganized, not taking initiative to solve problems that they specifically told their manager about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Toxic. That's an exit situation in my if I was working with that person, it's an exit that, and it feels impossible and it feels scary. But if a leader is going to tell you it's your fault you're burnout, which is a common message in the patriarchy, um, they're wrong, first of all, and we need to get you someplace safe.
wow. That is just horrible. That's, sometimes like women can be our own worst supporters, like our other women who are caught up in that system, right? I was one of them.
Hmm.
I recognize I was one of those women who might have said that to someone like that, back then, because I
Hmm.
believed in the system. I
Hmm.
believed that this was the way, right? And I didn't know that I could live a different way. Oh my goodness. It looks
Yeah.
like there's some more notes. Anne Marie, what else should we know?
Yeah, fortunately, so this person responded they have exited and they're now in a better situation. So we applaud that. Good for you. Someone else, this is kind of a question as well, but they said they're so terrified about being hired after they faced severe burnout in the past. And so they are wondering how to approach it in interviews.
How to approach that, the burnout happened? Is that the question? Can we get a clarifying?
I
Or
think
how to
what they're
avoid it
saying,
in the future?
oh, yeah, that would be good if we can get a little clarification on that. Um, approaching your fear of burnout or approaching yeah, just give us a little bit more on that one. We'd love to answer that question. Um, something that people I talk to sometimes when they've been in senior positions, they want to then um, take a lower position where they're maybe not managing a team, they're an individual contributor in a situation. They just want to go to work, do a good job, get a paycheck, and not have to fight this fight anymore. And with that, it's really interesting. What we find we have to do is often they're told they're overqualified for the kinds of positions they want to have. That's okay. What we do is we reposition the resume and the story so that people can
Mhm.
see your skills and what you are wanting to do, and de-emphasize some of the. I never, okay, not never, excuse me. We rarely will encourage someone to go backwards. Usually, when we're working with women, we're pushing them like, you're at a VP level. Why are you applying to manager roles? You're at a C level. Why are you still looking for VP level roles? But there are situations where no, for you, you do need to step back. But then how do we reposition that in your materials so that people aren't going to just keep saying to you all day long, you're overqualified? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got
Um,
some clarification on the last
Oh,
question. The person's asking so they left the job because of burnout and now they're re-entering the job force. And I think
mhm.
they're asking like how to frame that, uh, you know, if it comes
How to
up
frame
in the
I
interview.
would just say, I mean, if I were had a little more time to think about the conversation, it would be something that like, oh yes, I did take some time to reassess what I was doing and get on the path that I want to be on. It would be better than that. But if you have a gap, you explain it that way. I had some health issues. It's a health issue. Burnout is a physical health issue. They've been resolved. I'm at full health now. That's another thing you can say. That's nobody can really argue with. But
mhm.
I have a couple of women that I've worked with, and I've given permission to speak on it. But they left the workplace, had disability, re-entering the workplace, and what I've been working with them a lot on is it's nobody's business unless you're
Yeah.
explaining a gap. And then you had a health issue or you had some family issues that you needed to take care of, and it was best to give your attention to that. And now you're here and you're ready. And not to be afraid of that, because if you act like a white man for a minute and have that conversation, it's a whole different feeling. Mediocre white man, I'll just add. Just go at it like that. And I know we're not white men, we're women, but that part of the system we need to change is being afraid to speak a truth because we're women. It's not going to change if we're still afraid to say things. And I know that's hard. I know that's hard because I've done it.
That's an interesting, it's kind of goes back to boundaries, right? Like some people say
Mhm.
no, the full sentence.
Yeah.
And just like you were saying there, if you're asked about it, you can explain, I had a medical leave and
Mhm.
pretty much done, right? We
Yeah.
don't owe anyone large explanations. And
Mhm.
actually, when you say it was a medical leave, as a person interviewing you, I would not want to know more because that's like an HR
Mhm.
violation to ask you anything more
Yeah.
about
That's why it's a
medical
medical leave.
leave.
I've been cleared to return to work. Good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like we had just had someone post, they keep hearing they're overqualified. Um, if you keep hearing that, you'll have to I mean, if you're not, there's two things here. If you're not getting interviews, your resume isn't working for you. So that's how you know if your resume is working, is if you're getting interviews. Now, if you're getting interviews and then being told you're overqualified, there's a different approach I would take to looking at how you're positioning things. But if you're not getting any interviews at all, let's talk, give us a call here at Get Her Hired, or take our Hit Send course. It's a self-paced course that gives you our entire methodology, but in a self-paced manner. So that's there for you too. Anne-Marie, did we miss a question earlier in the chat? I just want to make sure we covered everybody.
There was a question or a comment. Someone said that they're currently unemployed, actively looking. They suffered massive burnout a decade ago, needed to take a 2-year break to reset, and they just commented that they've always made it a point to have open dialogue with their bosses, especially because if the boss doesn't know how they're feeling, they can't help them.
Wow. Good for you. I think,
Mhm.
Jennifer, let me let you comment on that.
Well, that's perfect. And I think it's really important to do that. Sometimes the boss will want to help. They just don't know.
That would be ideal. Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely if you
ideal.
work at Get Her Hired, that works. Yeah. Um, we've been talking about this, but I'm going to back up for a second and ask you, in your words, what does burnout mean? What is it and what is it not? Because I think we've touched on it a little bit, but maybe define that for us, how you see it.
Yeah, yeah. The first thing I want to say is you don't get burnt out, you are burned. Someone burns you out. So it's definitely something that it's like you catch a cold. You didn't do that.
Happen-
It happens to you, and it's because of the system we're in. It can show up in exhaustion, in anxiety, in depression, in chronic pain, chronic illness. You can feel like a shell of yourself. You may have forgotten why you're doing what you're doing anyway. It'll show up as lack of connection to things you used to like. And
Mhm.
basically what has happened is your nervous system has just fried. And the regulation that you need is not accessible to you because you're never feeling safe. And without feeling safe, we can't do much that's great. We can push through, but what is the reward of that? If all of you are doing it and I've done it, like there's not much reward. And so it's very much a physical, emotional, mental situation. And it has nothing to do with how good you are at your job or your life or your family. It has only to do that you've been tasked with too much for anybody.
Mhm.
And we're just used to saying yes. So it's the furthest thing away from a personal failing. And that is the trend I see when I talk to women is I wasn't good enough. That's what we're told. I wasn't organized enough. I'm too old, whatever they're telling us, even without words. It has nothing to do with anything you've done wrong. It is all to do with having too much. It's like asking your car to go with no gas. And I mean, we're not going to do that, but if we were the car, we would be going. So it's so physical that I think we miss it sometimes. We might be sad and depressed and angry and frustrated, but the physiological piece of it is when we're going to the doctor and at a certain age, they're like, well, it's just how you are now, or it's probably
Yeah.
perimenopause, or just deal with it. It could, all of the things I said can be that, but it can also just be burnout.
Okay. What are some trends you're seeing right now happening for the women you're talking with around burnout? Is there anything in particular that you're hearing more of in the last 18 months or so?
In the last 18 months, it's been more and more about businesses running on too few people and the women stepping in, to your point that you made, the women stepping in and doing that. And we haven't even really touched on this. We know we're not only workers, we are also doing this level of work outside of our work. And so letting women see that full picture, when I say, okay, this is what you just explained to me, and I list their entire, like a day in the life of, or a week in the life of, they're like, oh, we don't see it because we just have to get it done. So
Yeah.
it's continuing to get worse, and women are still not noticing that they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're taking on, I mean, sometimes we talk to people and they feel like, And I know I was this too. I was honored at one point when I was asked to take on additional responsibilities. I was like, oh, look at me. Yes, of course, I'll take on additional
Mhm,
responsibilities.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
but it gets to a point where then also we're not promotable any longer because I'm so valuable in this position and I'm doing the jobs of three people. They can't promote me
Mhm,
because now they'll have to hire three people to make up for it.
mhm.
And the whole time, I just think I'm proving myself. I'm proving myself. My work will speak for itself. I will get ahead because I've done this.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and then there are other people that are excelling beyond us and getting promotion over promotion who have never, and I would get resentful. I'll use I language, I would get resentful, like,
Mhm.
if that person doesn't know what they're doing, why are they being promoted to this other position? I've been actually doing this work for 3 years.
That's one
That
piece of
is,
guidance I give every client that I work with is don't do the next job yet. I think it's kind of getting better with like the new generation coming into the workplace. They're like, yeah, I'm not doing the next job till you pay me for the next job. Whereas if you're any older than that, you're like, oh, I gotta do it. I gotta prove myself. Someday I'm gonna get the recognition. That is never coming. That whatever you
yeah.
want, it's never coming. I won so many awards and got it didn't matter. I was still like a husk of myself. So do the job you're paid to do. And if someone wants to give you someone else's job, ask, what do you want me to put on the side if you want me to do this other work? And I know that sounds hard and crazy, and you might lose, like, you might get on the gossip. I don't care. Get on the gossip list and then find a new job. But start to create your boundaries. So I see you want me to do someone else's job, and I'm happy to step in, put this together for me as a puzzle.
That's such a beautiful part of kind of the self-respect, I would say. And like for me,
Mhm.
it was like a moment of, you know what? I don't want to be like Stuart Smalley or anything from SNL, but like I am good enough and I am worth it. And I've
Yes.
got other people
Yes.
like me, right? And
Yeah.
when I
Hmm.
finally recaptured that and reclaimed that for myself, it's like I woke up and I'm like, what am I doing here? Why? It was like the Wizard of Oz. It suddenly became in color.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, let me get out of this place. And that's where then I was thinking about it and then
Hmm.
created a layoff situation for myself. Yes, it all worked out.
Oh, nice.
And I
Nice.
haven't been back. I have not been back, but that's not for everybody. And it's really hard to, it's like, what's that balance between being professional and respecting my own boundaries and myself and negotiating for what I want and asking and naming what I want. And the system is not a great place for this because it is built for men, like our workforce is built for men who aren't taking care of children, who aren't taking care of other things. And we're fitting into that, but we are also taking care of lots of other things. What kind of advice do you have for people, for us women, to help us find our voice and do this before we get to the burnout?
Yeah.
Like, what can we do before that?
That's where the self-care comes in, honestly, because part of the problem
Oh,
with not doing self-care is the reason we're not doing it is because we don't value ourselves enough. And when we start doing it and believing that we deserve it, we start believing we deserve better treatment everywhere. Because a lack of self-care is a lack of self-worth, self-love. We're like, I'll do that after I've taken care of everything else. Put it first
yeah.
instead. I promise you, you'll still be able to take care of everything else. And you'll start expecting people to hear you. And you'll start seeing things differently. Like you said, you wake up and you're like, what is going on here? When I was getting ready to leave corporate, I had a woman say to me, how can you leave? And I had to bite my tongue so hard because the thing that came in my brain so fast was, how can you stay? But I didn't say that because I was professional. So, yeah, it's scary, but taking care of yourself. If I don't believe I deserve my own care, I certainly don't believe I deserve anyone else's care.
Ouch.
I know.
Yes.
It is stinger. Yeah.
Ouch. That's true that
Hmm.
I feel that because I probably projected that for a very long time. Yeah. Yeah, but I projected I didn't need anyone's care also, right? Like
Well, that's
all
so
independent.
manly of you. Yes.
Yes, I don't need anyone's care.
Because if we need help, we're weak in
Yes, of course.
capitalistic patriarchy. That's not really
Yes.
true. And you can let other people think it's true and still change the way you live. Water, drink water, hydrate. You drink your water, everybody. That's the most important self-care, foundational level.
Yeah. So we want to take your questions. So if you've got
Mhm,
questions on burnout, rants, if you we'll take the rants. If you want to
mhm,
rant, please
mhm.
type away, okay? We'll take this from you. We'll take it from you. Um, if you've got questions for Jennifer specifically about a situation you're experiencing, please bring it over in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll keep it anonymous. This is a safe place for you.
Mhm.
Okay, we always make that a priority here in the work we do at Get Her Hired. Anne Marie, did we have anything new come in?
Yes, let's see. Okay, is there one thing you do every morning to start off your day with self-care, and what would that be?
There is, and it is 5 to 8 minutes of not touching my phone. And so when I wake up, I first visualize like something I want in my life, whether it's I need water too, I guess. Um, it's a house I want, it's a day I want, it's something I'm looking for. So I visualize, I close my eyes, I feel that, and then I do some breath work. And then I do like some body tapping, and then I stretch all my joints and do this. And what I've done in that 5 to 8 minutes is I've set my nervous system up for the day. Whereas if you grab your phone and look at it, you've set your nervous system to be on high alert. And that is a
Yeah,
terrible place to start. So I do the imagining and stretching and breathing first thing in the morning. Doesn't
yeah.
take long.
That's great, Jennifer. I know. I like half the time I'm like right on CNN to see what happened. Fall
No, I know. I know. Don't do that.
asleep.
It's not good. Yeah. It
No,
feels a
it's
little
not
weird when you
good.
first start, but like, I'm like, I don't need that phone right now. That phone's like, yes, you do. No, I don't.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're coming up. If you've got more questions, please post them. We'd love to take them. But what's the biggest mindset shift, Jennifer, that we can make? Or what's a myth we can just bust around burnout, around self-care? What do you think?
Uh, I think the thing that is the main thing that helps everybody that I work with is I'm going to figure it out. And so if I need to take time for self-care, if I need to leave my job, if I need to, I didn't leave my job with lots of money. I left my job with nothing. So if I'm going to figure it out, you will figure it out. You have solved every problem you've ever faced. And so
Mm.
when that fear comes in because of whatever is happening, I have never met a problem I haven't solved. Let it be my
Mm.
problem now to solve.
Yeah, that's powerful, Jennifer. That is a powerful reframe. That is wonderful. And that, Emery, it looks like we got another question that came in.
Yeah, so this person said they just feel really sad. They know that the right job is going to come and they'll end up where they're supposed to be, but it's just hard for them to do all the self-care.
It's hard for the, I'm assuming the self-care is hard to do either because you don't believe you deserve it or because you're so sad. And so in those moments, which I've had too, if you give yourself permission to be sad, to have the feeling, to let it pass through, it'll come again. If you start to treat the feelings like weather, knowing they'll pass, but give yourself permission to wrap up in a blanket and binge watch Netflix. You say it out loud, I give myself permission to do that. Your body will relax and allow you to take care of it. If it's deeper than that, the sadness, go to the doctor, ask for help. That's not anything to be have any feelings about. If you need help, get help. But
Yeah.
if it's just a depressive level of I can't take care of myself because I'm so sad, let yourself feel that for a minute. When we resist the feelings, they stick around longer.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's really helpful. And I am a huge advocate for mental health. I see my therapist every Tuesday afternoon. My whole team knows I'm busy. I'm at the therapy.
Mhm.
I need it because we do so much and we are all leading in so many ways. And to have an hour where I can sit down and not be in charge for a minute and just talk through the things that are difficult for me. It's amazing. So yes, get a therapist if you can, get some medical help if you need it. I'm also
Mhm.
on the drugs for the depression and anxiety, and I openly share that too,
Yeah,
because I think we should normalize these things, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So I know we're coming up on the end here. Um, what little final piece of advice or one takeaway, one final thought do you want to share with us here?
Live now. Your life is a now. It's not after you finish working. It's not it's now. So find ways to believe that you deserve to live your life now.
And you do. You deserve it right now.
Hmm.
Yes. Thank you for that.
And I
Thank
think
you for
that
that.
that goes
Love.
nicely, Jennifer, into the one comment where someone just asked about suggestions on starting a new job without bringing
Hmm.
baggage and mental abuse from a former role. This person said that
Hmm.
they are underemployed, making
Hmm.
half as much as they used to. And I think that goes to like your life is now, like in this role where you
Does.
are.
Yeah, it does. And get the help that you need to help you feel like you're whole again. You're already whole, but you just don't feel like it. Get the help you need as you step into the new place. Because we don't deserve to carry the trauma in our bodies either.
Right. Yes. One of our attendees just reminded me to remind people to check if your company has an EAP, so an
Hmm.
employee plan. You can sometimes get services through your employer assistance program for therapy, doctors, etc. And that's a great resource if your company has that. And if you're interviewing to work somewhere, ask them if they have an EAP, check it out and
Yeah.
see what might be possible. Um, at the time when I was there, I was too ashamed of like some of the things I was going through that I didn't never even checked, right? But now that I know, it absolutely would be something I'd take advantage of and that I'd offer my team members here too. So Jennifer, I want to give some time. We're going to be giving out 3 copies of the book, which will follow up after the call with the people who are getting the book. um, Self-Care for Your Apocalypse. And then you've got a great program coming out, and we want to, Anne Marie, if you can put the links for Jennifer's program that she's offering into the chat, that would be fantastic. Tell us about this, Jennifer, this program you designed.
It's a workshop that is 4 hours long. It can be done at once, or I have another offering in sections. And it's called Reset to Reclaim because everyone is setting goals right now. And my approach is like, let's regulate you, let's get you some peace in your body and your mind, and then let's talk about goals. So it's not a go, 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 but you're going to get where you want to go if you take care of yourself first. And with someone guiding you, me, it'll be easier than if you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it's like super reasonable. If I looked at the price tag on this and I was like, Jennifer, why don't you triple this cost? But
Oh,
before
I
she
will.
triples it, go, go buy
Yeah,
it
do
from
it now. This is just for
It's
you
so,
guys, so grab it.
yeah. It's so incredibly valuable what you're doing and how you're helping people. Where else can we find information on the work you're doing? Do you post on LinkedIn, and tell us some more about that, where else we can find you?
Mostly it's my website. It's mojowithjennifer.com. I do sometimes post on LinkedIn. I do more of my connecting in real life, I think, through whether it's virtual like
Ah,
this or but referrals, we meet the right people. So, but you can
yes.
catch me on my website, and you can also just email me or get on my calendar if you want to have a conversation.
Wonderful. How can we email you?
Jennifer at mojowithjennifer.com.
That's easy. Let me type that in.
I
Jennifer,
know.
Mojo with Jennifer.com. I hope I
Yep,
spelled that correctly. Oh, thank you. Anne Marie
you
did it
did.
too.
Yeah, you
Thank
did. In
you.
my back in the day when I wrote the book, I had a website that was your apocalypse. That was a nightmare. Nobody can spell that. So now it's Mojo with Jennifer.
Well, thank you so much. We are so excited. Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been wonderful. I'm taking with me, not picking up my phone in the morning,
Hmm.
my breathing exercises, and then knowing that I don't have to carry around shame and trauma with me from the
Hmm.
past, and
Yeah.
that I can take care of myself before I burn out. Thank you. Thank you for that permission.
Yes. Yes. My pleasure.
Well, next week, everyone, we will not have a session. We try to do this every week, but we won't next week because it's Thanksgiving, and we're so grateful. Our offices will be closed, but we'll be back on December 4th, where we're talking with Heidi Garside, and with her, we're talking all about leadership and how to be a wonderful leader. She's just a great coach in that space. Thanks to everyone who attended. We got also someone else said they love the 478 breathing and the morning self-care tips. So thank you so much, Jennifer. Thanks to
Yay.
everyone who attended today,
Thank you.
and take care. Jennifer will be in touch, and go get her program.
Thank
Oh
you.
my
Take care.
gosh, go out and get the program. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.